we have a couple of projects rather, that are much more advanced. If you don't know what Pinokio is the highly optimized Rust-based model philosophy for writing Solana programs. It's not a framework; it is more of an approach. And Srinath, who's been with us, gosh, probably 2 years, is part of our Pinokio group. We've been working with Pinokio for a year, formally for about 9 months. And the most recent thing we've done is called PLend. So I'm going to turn it over to Srinath to give you not a full demo, but an update on where we are with PLend.
Yep. And let me start sharing my screen. The funny thing is that this is not the first project I'm shipping in Pinokio. We have already shipped like a couple of projects. Like me and the team actually have shipped with multisig, and currently like I'm also like working on like PLend with the team. So yep. And if I'm not wrong, like there was also a state program like written by Ghazal, who's right here. So of course, hands off to her. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, Jeff was actually talking about like the Pinokio implementation of the things that we are working on, right? So we are in the cohort. Today my goal is to like give a basic understanding of like what we are trying to do and the kind of the method to the madness. So there are two strategies that we follow in Pinokio cohort. One is actually like Pinokioifying like existing repositories, and the second thing is building our own thing and doing that in Pinokio. So these are the two approaches we take. And obviously, third thing which goes without saying is open source contribution. And that is actually done by one of our cadets, Zubair and Burhan, who are actually working on Token 2022 extensions, instruction builders. So yeah. So my point is there is a lot of things going on. Like now let's come back to like what I'm doing. So when Andre and actually Apollo proposed like let's actually build a lending protocol using Pinokio. Most of the like popular protocols like Camino and then Solend and then MarginFi, all these protocols, even though they actually have a lot of like volume behind them, they are still written in Anchor. So how we can push the boundaries, right? And what is the drastic difference that comes when we actually reduce the CUs to an extent where actually it looks crazy, like because Pinokio actually reduces to such an extent. Or I guess the inverse of that is Anchor is very bloated. But Jacob is actually working on it. So from 1.0 and 2.0, it's gonna be like it'll not be the same. So I can't say that and that statement will not like withstand the time. Coming back to what I'm doing in the PLend, our goal was to let's build a lending protocol, but let's not go from fully scratch. Let's take a look at like all the protocols that are available on chain and see how they have actually like done it and what is the failure of them, or like for example where could like Camino can improve, where could like MarginFi can improve. So that was our goal, and for that I'll show you like because the main reason I want to like share all of this today is to showcase like our the process, because the current state of the protocol is actually like it's in a much more primitive state. So what I want to showcase today is more of the approach than anything. So if you see here, the first thing we did was create a doc and actually have all of us actually assign different components of the lending protocol. If you see here, we actually like first of all understood what are the different components that are there, and then from there we assigned and delegated each of those components, and then from there on our task was to basically like look at all the ecosystem products for the specific components. For example, if you take up like obligation, that is a position of the user, we basically look through the entire ecosystem, try to understand like how others have implemented it, and then we go towards like what is our proposed solution and the reasoning behind that. It can be something completely different, but it can also be a mixture of the existing thing. Or if you feel like, Camino already does it better, we'll just do that. So yeah, that's basically like how we got started with the whole thing. And if you see here, we actually have like proper diagrams to understand the flow and all of them actually make a case for why we should actually choose their final architecture for the component. So if you see here, even for the wait, let me see. Yeah, see if you see here, we have a basic flow, right? The creation of the obligation and the life cycle and checking if it's healthy or not, all that kind of stuff. Then finally, we actually have the final thing. So this is like kind of how we got started. And now we are actually at a stage where we have finalized the README, and this is currently the architecture. But I guess like Jeff, I actually when I initially joined Builders Code, Jeff said this to me. I'm pretty much like following till this date, right? Whatever things I write in the architecture, I treat it like a rough draft, like pencil. But while you're writing it, you treat it like a paragraph. So you write it like you're writing it with pen, but you erase and edit it like you have written it with pencil. So always like keep on updating your beliefs based on whatever results you get out of the architecture essentially. And if you see here, the current architecture actually has a basic hierarchy of you will have a on the top you will have a global admin, and then below that you have a lending market, and then the lending market actually is what will contain all the key parameters. So if you see here, in the lending, wait, let me see. Yeah, in the lending market, we have the basic parameters that would actually like govern the entire protocol. And then on top of that, like I said, we have the admin. But now we can actually open a bunch of reserves. Reserves is where actually we can deposit our collateral, and then we can borrow from other reserves. So lending market is in the top, and then after that we have the reserves. Then at the end of the day, the obligation. Obligation refers to the position of the user. So when a user actually deposits, they can obviously also withdraw, right? So the borrowing would actually be the creation of the obligation. And then this just refers to the key users. And then Oracle is, of course, for actually providing the fees. And we're actually thinking of like using, I don't know, maybe, but thinking about using like something like Magic Block even, or even other solutions, right? Even Switchboard. So we are still like thinking about that, but yeah, coming back to the architecture flow. So the flow is actually pretty straightforward. If you look into this, let me open it. Yeah. So we have the lender who is going to supply liquidity to the lending market, but the direction of it will be to a specific reserve. So we need to, of course, check the status of the reserve, and then followed up by like checking all the parameters that is required. And then once all of the checks and the required statements are done, then we proceed towards the deposit of liquidity. And now that the deposit of liquidity occurred, now the lender has actually provided liquidity for the others to borrow, right? So we'll have to like interest. We have to accrue interest for them. So they actually get incentivized for the deposit. So we accrue interest, and then from there, actually, that's pretty much it. So if you actually you will get a collateral token minted. So you will basically use this virtual token kind of thing. We are thinking it can be a virtual token as well, but we are planning to mint the token collateral. For example, if you deposit Sol, we can actually give you something like C Sol, which represents the collateral token which you have actually deposited. What this allows us to do is actually create a separate secondary market as well. So you can actually quickly give your almost give partially of your possession to someone else, do all that kind of stuff. So it actually has its own benefits, right? So this is the overall flow of it. Let me see. Yeah. And after that, we have the lenders and the borrowers perspective of it. Like I said, we will have to supply liquidity, and then we of course have to update the reserve state because we are adding the collateral to it. And then from there, the states, after the states are being updated, the position, the obligation position will be created, and voila, we are done with the lenders flow. And borrowers actually is pretty straightforward. So like I said, for the deposit of your collateral, you will be getting back the C tokens, right? The collateral tokens, and using that we can actually borrow from the existing reserves inside the lending market. So yeah, that's actually pretty much it. I don't want to go through the entire details of it because the whole repo is actually public. If you guys are interested, feel free to take a look at it, and the README kind of covers it all. So yeah, And right now we are at a state where we have actually like finalized all the states that is needed. And after that, we are also working on like a couple of design decisions. So we also like finalized on that actually a couple of days back. And right now I'm trying to like streamline the whole like testing pipeline. I'll probably like push a GitHub workflow so we can actually like have the whole testing properly like basically making the whole testing pipeline easier. So yeah, that's actually pretty much it. Let me know if you guys have any doubts or questions. Happy to answer.